Hello, my loves. My name is Ananya Mehta. I'm 19 years old from Charlotte, North Carolina. My birthday is September 9, 2006. And I've lived in Charlotte my entire life, born and raised. I currently go to school here as well, college, and I'm studying industrial engineering / systems engineering. We don't have an industrial engineering specific major or majors, a BSSE, which is Bachelor's of Science in Systems Engineering. I'm doing a minor in math and a minor in mechanical engineering as well. I'm 4'11". I'm not gonna say my weight because that's irrelevant, but yeah, a little bit more about me personality wise. I'm a Virgo, Sun, Aries, Moon, Libra rising. My personality, MBTI personality type is INFJ-T. My Enneagram is 2W3. Yeah, I think those are all the personality things that I know. My favorite color is baby pink. I love all pinks, but especially baby pink glittery vibes, yeah. My favorite scent is anything vanilla bakery scented. Less of a butter forward smell, more of a sugar forward smell. I like sugary, baked to goodness, vanilla. And my favorite season is fall. I love crunchy leaves and stepping on the crunchy leaves, and I love just like the oranges and how it's like rainy, and it's just like, it's me. I love fall. I love it. And speaking of that, my favorite weather is like a foggy, dewy morning, like at 6 a.m. when you wake up and there's fresh morning dew on the grass and it's a bit foggy and not many other people are up right now, you know? That's like my favorite weather. My favorite tree is a weeping willow. My favorite flower would be probably a tiger lily. I love tiger lilies. I love all lilies. I also love chrysanthemums and peonies. Yeah, my favorite hobbies / my hobbies, not my favorite, but my hobbies. I like to read. I love journaling. You guys know me. I love to read and journal. I love watching TV. I kind of watch the same shows over and over again. So for my shows, I like H2O Mermaids, Criminal Minds, Prison Break, Breaking Bad, and Love Island UK, and Modern Family. Those are kind of the shows that I watch over and over again. I like Psych as well. It's a mystery show. Yeah, those are my favorites. And then my top 4 on Letterboxd movies. So I have 2 top 4s. My Ananya top 4 is The Virgin Suicides, Black Swan, Speak, and White Oleander, I believe. And then my like cinephile top 4, aka to be like a Letterboxd poser top 4, is I don't remember all of them. I think they're French films. I know that for sure. Love and War was one of them. There's one about like masks, maybe. Oh my god, it's so windy. I like it though. I kind of wish I'd get like blown away. But yeah, they're like French films. I love French films. Vive sa vie, La Belle Personne, and so many more. But yeah, that's my Letterboxd top 4. Like my poser top 4. It's not my actual Letterboxd top 4. I think my actual Letterboxd top 4 is Virgin Suicides, Girl Interrupted, Black Swan, Black Swan and Speak. I don't think White Oleander's in my Letterboxd top 4 because I haven't updated it yet. And honestly, I don't know if I will, because I just love all my sad, mentally ill movies I can relate to. So yeah, those are my favorite movies. I'm always watching new movies though. That's a lie. I do kind of rewatch the same comfort movies over and over again. If I were a movie character, I think I most relate to Charlie Kalmekis. I did do one of those tests where it's like, which movie character are you? And they said I was the narrator from Fight Club. Charlie Kalmekis, Melinda Sordino from Speak. I think I got some other ones. Definitely Susanna Kaysen with the BPD and everything. But yeah, moving on to that topic. So my mental illnesses that I've been diagnosed with are general anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, anorexia nervosa eating disorder, and borderline personality disorder. And then through a BPD textbook that my dad gave me when I was first diagnosed, I found out that I have both anxious and avoidant attachment. So I have like the mixed attachment. And then for my type of BPD that I most identify with is quiet borderline personality disorder and a little bit of self-destructive. Obviously everyone's BPD is different, but those are just the two that mine kind of are framed in. What else? My favorite, if I were a city, I would be London for sure, because like the rainy weather, you know, like it's sad, it's depressing, but it has a countryside, like 10 minutes outside, and it has a city, there's shopping, there's coffee on every block, public transportation. Like I am London. London is me. I love London. If I were an animal, I think I'd be a tiger, because I would definitely be a cat, and obviously tigers are a type of cat, but I also feel like tigers are really misunderstood. People are like scared of them and things like that, but in reality I think they would just be like so warm and friendly and cuddly. I love tigers. I think it's because Princess Jasmine is one of my favorite princesses. I've always wanted a pet tiger. Yeah, I think I'd be a tiger. Either a tiger or maybe I'd be a sausage dog. I don't know. But yeah. What else? My favorite books. My favorite authors first. Ottessa Moshfegh, Simone de Beauvoir, Albert Camus. Is it Camus? Camus or Camus? I don't know. I'm gonna say Camus because I'm American and that's just what rolls off of my tongue, but I don't know. So those are my three favorite authors. I also love Dostoevsky. I love Kafka, of course, all the classics. I know this is going to be kind of a hot take. I do like Sylvia Plath's writing, but she is a bit of a racist, and I don't particularly vibe with that at all. But her writing does speak a lot to me, especially in the unabridged journals of Sylvia Plath. I think that was that was more so a glimpse into her mind rather than in the Bell Jar. There was a lot of like racism, and I just did not fuck with that. I mean, the fig tree analogy is legendary, but I don't think racism's cool, personally. My favorite books, I'd say My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. I love The Picture of Dorian Gray. I think it is an amazing, if you're like trying to get into books. When I first got into books, I was like, I want to read all the classics, and that was one of like my first reads of 2025, I believe. And it's a nice, short, beautiful read. I love it. I also love The Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's amazing. The movie's also amazing. I do wish they included her sister. What's the sister's name? Candace's abortion and all that with Charlie, because I think in the movies they didn't show as much of Charlie and his sister's relationship, which I didn't like, or him and his brother. But also, like, the movie's like not going to be 5 hours long, so it makes sense. I thought it was a good adaptation. My favorite like series of movies would probably be Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. I'm a Luna girl, Luna Lovegood. I'm definitely like a Dumbledore, Luna Lovegood type of girl. Yeah, what other books do I like? Speak, I just read that was beautiful. I've read so many books that like I can't keep track of what my favorites are, because all the good ones are my favorites. And all the books I've read have been good. I mean, there's some like 4 stars. I don't think there have been any 3-star reads yet, because I've basically just been reading classics and books that have been recommended to me by Book Talk. so it's like gonna be my vibe, you know. What else? My favorite movies, books, TV show, my favorite foods. Okay, I know this is kind of like a hot take because obviously with my eating and stuff, and I'm gonna get into more of those behaviors and things in a minute, but my favorite foods, I love fruits. Recently I've been on a crunchy grapes kick, but I'm always in the mood for fruit. Apples, I like crunchy fruit specifically. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I love like a nice crisp apple. Yeah, and I'm a huge like drink connoisseur, so I love coffees, matchas, chais, energy drinks. For energy drinks, I really only do Red Bull, Bloom, and Alani. I don't really like the other ones as much. I'm not a Monster fan or a Celsius fan, but yeah. What else? I'm on my school's racing team. I do electronics, so mostly data analytics forward, and I'm also a part-time yoga teacher, and I'm writing a book. So yeah, that's kind of like my jobs, and then obviously I'm a full-time student. I'm hoping to get a job in the racing industry or finish writing my book so it can be published and make it big. Either path I go down, we'll see. Or maybe both. Yeah. So that's kind of like my background. Oh my god, it's so windy. I think a tree broke. I don't like when trees break because that's so sad. Anyways, my behaviors, I would say for general anxiety disorder, I have like dermatillomania, which is basically like picking when you're anxious and stuff. So I pick my lips, I scratch my legs. I've been doing a new thing where I pick like the skin off my ears. Yeah, there's a lot. And then also with anxiety, like I tend to obviously drink caffeine in my drinks, you know, and that doesn't necessarily help. I don't actually know what my symptoms for anxiety are. I worry about everything. I'm constantly thinking. My mind doesn't shut off. And then depression symptoms, I would say I do isolate a lot. I like my alone time. I cut people off. I do get lazy. I have high functioning depression though, so I can't miss classes, I can't miss exams, I can't fall behind on schoolwork. Procrastination is something that's just never been a thing for me. So I'll look like I'm perfectly fine, I'm on top of everything, but on the inside, like the second I get home from school, I'm rotting in bed, you know, and it's very hidden, but if you see it, like you can't unsee it, I think. I also struggle with extreme suicidal ideation. I've had quite a few attempts in the past, obviously in the past, not in the present, because I'm not killing myself right now. I'm talking to you guys right now. What else? For depression, I struggle with self-harm, mixed sleep, mood swings, things like that. Yeah, my anorexia behaviors are mainly over-exercising and under-eating, restrictive behaviors, counting calories, fear foods. I don't like to eat around most people. I don't like to go out to eat with most people, or in general, if I can avoid it, I will. I lie a lot about food. I throw food. I waste food. Yeah, it's pretty awful. And then for BPD, there's 9 traits, and I meet 8 out of the 9 traits. Off the top of my head, I don't really remember all the 9 traits, but the one that I don't have is the anger one, the extreme anger. I used to be extremely angry as a kid, but I think my anger in arguments and things when I was a kid never really led anywhere. I was still profusely shut down, and so I just learned, rather than exploding, to internalize it. I mean, I always internalized it. My anger only spat out when all the internalizing kind of blew up, but I've kind of mastered the art of bottling up my feelings. I'm not really much of a crier. I don't know if that's because of my SSRIs or I cried so much in high school that I just cry every few months. When I do cry, though, it is bad. It's bad. And my last crying episode, I guess, was June, I want to say. It was like it was in the middle of summer session 1, and it was like the worst I've cried in years. It's been a minute. Yeah, I don't like talking about my emotions at all. But anyways, back to the BPD. So that's mostly just consisting of extreme suicidal ideation, impulsive behaviors. My impulsivity is definitely with shopping and driving. Yeah, the driving I've been able to manage a bit. The shopping I've also been able to manage. Impulsivity is like one of those symptoms that I don't necessarily, like, it's one of my lesser symptoms, I would say. But obviously it is something like I have impulsivities. Whenever like something happens, you know. And then obviously extreme mood swings, unstable self-image, self-isolation, loneliness, dissociation, all that. I do struggle with really bad dissociative episodes where I feel like I'm not in my body. I think the one that I have is called derealization. So yeah. What else with my BPD? But because I do have like quiet and self-destructive BPD, most of it is kind of like, obviously BPD is a sensitivity disorder. You don't know how to manage your feelings and you feel things so deeply. But with quiet and self-destructive BPD, for me, like, I tend to bottle up all my emotions, but little things do affect me, like changes in tone, things like that. They hit me really hard. I just internalize it, and I'd rather not confront it, if that makes sense. So it's just something that I journal it, or I'll like self-harm or SI or engage in a different behavior to get rid of that sadness or anger or whatever emotion resulted in that like slight change in tone from someone or someone canceling plans. But yeah, I've struggled with abandonment all my life. And the worst part is like, for me, opening up is obviously very hard for me to do, because I don't want my problems to be someone else's like worries. I don't want people to worry about me. And usually when I reach like that stage where I'm ready for people to know me, or a person to know me in that way, they do tend to just up and leave. Like, you can sense the distance, so I get even more and more closed off, and it just keeps happening. But yeah, I've struggled with abandonment in several areas of my life: nannies, teachers, friends, situationships, my ex-boyfriend, doctors. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't do well with change at all. Yeah, what else? I have mommy issues, a little bit of daddy issues, a little bit of everything issues. I'm a deeply sad person, and I put a smile on my face and go about my day. I wouldn't say I'm smart. I'm not really good at anything. I get average grades, A's and B's. My GPA in high school was 4.2 weighted, 3.7 unweighted, and I think it's the same here. Well, we don't have weighted GPAs in college, but it's like a 3.7, I think. I don't know. But yeah, I've got A's and B's. I did get a C in statics last semester. That was my first ever C in college. In high school, I only got one C in physics, but then I took physics 1 and 2 in college, and I got a B in physics 1 and an A in physics 2, I believe. Something like that. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of like an average student. I'm not really good at anything. I'm not really good at sports. I'm not really good at music. I don't really have like any talents. I journal. I'm talented at my hobbies. I'm not even talented. How can you be talented at reading and writing in your journal? Like, okay, I'm talented at saying Dear Diary. I have a twin brother. He's 2 minutes older than me, and he is insanely smart and successful. And he's probably going to be one of like the richest people ever. I have a dog. He's turning 8 on August 1st. He's my pride and joy. My parents are still together. They're not separated. Definitely since we went to college, they're like happier. I don't know. Growing up, I never really saw them kind of like each other in that way. I kind of always thought it was like an arranged marriage situation. Lots of fighting, especially over my mom's weight. And my mom was always suspicious of my dad. I don't know. And now there's still like fighting and arguments constantly over little things. And my mom has this tendency to like, she'll like get insanely mad and then come crying and victimizing about it, which I actually cannot stand. But what am I supposed to do? She had a deeply traumatizing childhood, and so I can't exactly be mad at her when there's reasoning for why she is the way she is. Unfortunately, it's just not the kind of mother figure I want in my life. Like, she's a good person. I appreciate her and everything, but as a mother, it's complicated. I'm really close with my grandma and my cousins. I like to stay in contact with all my friends from the hospital. I have 2 best friends, Piper and Olivia, and then I have a couple other friends. I have Ellie from the hospital, Charlotte from the hospital, Keegan from the hospital, Lemon. You know, I'm still cool with all the girls from there, so, and I like to stay in contact with them. But my like only really friend outside the hospital is my best friend Olivia, who I've known since the 2nd grade. I met my best friend Piper in the hospital as well. I know people are going to be like, oh, you can't have 2 best friends. Yeah, you can. One's like my sister and the other's like my soulmate. Like, it's 2 kinds of friendships. Yeah, and I love them both like in different ways, but at like the same amount. You know what I mean? I could not choose between the 2 of them. I would choose my brother. I am pretty close with my brother. I'm pretty close with my family in general, but I definitely don't tell them about my stuff because they're really weird about it. They just like kind of get mad and stuff. I don't know. It's like complicated. I don't really talk to anyone about my stuff. I don't go to therapy. I've been to therapy, but it hasn't worked. I've seen like 5 therapists. They all kind of suck. But I like my psychiatrist. I like psychiatrists. They're blunt. They're straight to the point. They don't like over dramatize everything. So like I feel like if you went to a therapist and you told them the truth, or I told them my truth, they'd hospitalize me. But when I go to my psychiatrist and I tell him my stuff, he's like, you gotta keep an eye on it. He'll increase dosage. He'll look at my medication, but he won't like hospitalize me. He knows that like derailing my college and putting things behind stresses me out, and it can cause a whole new sort of like tension for me. Whereas I feel like with other people, although even if I did reach out for help from a hospital, which I have in the past, the first time I did get help, but was severely traumatized by the hospitals I was in for those 6 months. And I didn't actually get any help. My goal was to get out of there. And then the second time that I asked for help, I was shut down by every hospital I contacted. So yeah, that's my mental health. Physical health, I have anemia. I don't really get tested for a lot of sicknesses because Even if something like happens to me physically, or I just kind of like suck it up and move on. I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to rack up more medical bills for my parents, you know? Yeah, that's me. That's an Anya. There's probably a lot more to me that I forgot to mention, but that's kind of like the summary of who I am. My favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate chip cookie dough or cookies and cream. Best is like both, like cookie dough, Oreos, and cream, like a slutty brownie, if you will. That sounds insane, but I can't eat that. I'll just have my grapes. Yeah. I love you guys, and I hope you have a lovely day. Tell me if we're like similar, if we're different, if you, I don't know. Tell me about you guys. And thank you for all 84 of you guys. Like what? I love you guys so much. And future Nanya, let me know if any of these things have changed, because I feel like I am changing as a person, but these have kind of been my favorite things and who I am for a hot minute. So, love you.